It's a lot in 3 minutes. This is probably my most personal song in a long time, actually. I remember I was on tour when I was with this person, and we were kind of like ships in the night. And I remember him being on FaceTime and being like, we're not allowed to break up on FaceTime. Like, we're not allowed. Like, if we need to do it, we need to do it in person. It was just like his way of keeping us sort of together, and it just was ironic because the way that we had broken up, he had left for a trip, and 3 days later he got on FaceTime with me and was just sort of like, yeah, I don't really know if this is like it for me. And I had like it written in my notes, like, remember when you said we weren't allowed to break up over FaceTime? Then you broke up with me over FaceTime. And then I started thinking about how fun it would be to rhyme everything with time. I had written the verses. I was scrolling on my Instagram one day and I saw this artist named Emmett Fenn. And I was like, I really want to work with him. Like, where is he? Like, how do I get in touch with him? And I finally got to meet him, and he was so lovely and like adorable. I told him I had this idea, and I loved his production already just from things that I had heard. And I just had no idea what I wanted to do for the chorus. I had no clue. And I think it was like a little too fresh. I wasn't fully ready there was still things that I wanted to maybe say, or things that hadn't healed yet. And he bounced it for me. I had it, and I would listen to it occasionally in the car, and I'd be like, gosh, I love these verses so much, but I just like don't know what to do for the chorus. And I one day just was in the car, and I wrote the chorus in the car, and I called Emmy, and I was like, I think I figured it out. I have always loved this song. It felt exactly like what I wanted to say in 3 minutes about this relationship. You know, I never really addressed it to the public. I never really addressed it to my fans, except for to my fans on Notebook that got to hear some very like intimate stories from the songs that I had done. This feels like cool, I'm not gonna talk about this person ever again in my fucking life. But I wanted my fans to have my side of the story. When I listen to the production, there's like this undertone of anger that Emmett put in there that just like felt exactly how I felt when I was writing it. There's like, you know, with the drums and like all the big stacked vocals and like the ambiance of the chords and just like all the nuance of everything that's happening in the songs. Yeah, there's this undertone of anger that I felt like he really captured in the production. Historically, on every EP and album that I've ever done, I've always put my ballad at the end, because I feel like at the root of who I am, that's who I am. I originally wanted Time to be one of the first singles, but I was like, I don't want Time to set the precedent of the Second Self EP, because obviously I'm known for being very vulnerable and very raw. But the point of this is like, there's a second self to me that's not just that. Like, I have other facets of my personality that are fun and teeter on campy and teeter on kitschy and dark and petty and sexy and flirty. Like, these are, you know, different parts of my personality, and I didn't want Time to be like, oh, okay, so we're getting another like emotional, raw, vulnerable album. Like, obviously there's gonna be parts of that on this album because that is a huge part of who I am, but that's not all of who I am.